Okay, if you play games, you know this feeling. You're in the zone, you're about to land that final combo, and bam, you're hit with a 30-second ad for a car you'll never buy. It's the worst. But it turns out it's not just annoying for you, it's actually terrible for business. Today, we're going to get into a massive shift that's happening in how games actually make money. So let's just start with a number that should make any game developer's blood run cold: 68%. Yeah, that's the percentage of players who will straight up abandon a game because the ads are too intrusive. Just think about that. More than two-thirds of your audience just gone. And that reality, that huge number, it forces this massive question on the whole industry. If that old ad model is so clearly broken, then what's next? How can developers actually make a living without just driving their players crazy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. Right, so let's be super clear about the problem here. The old way of doing things, these interruptive ads, it isn't just a minor annoyance. It's actively damaging the game experience. And when you do that, you're putting your revenue, your entire business, directly at risk. And this really highlights the huge difference in philosophy. You've got the old way, which is all about being disruptive and, frankly, irrelevant. That just destroys any trust you have with the player. But this new, player-first way, it's the complete opposite. It's seamless, it's contextual, and it's all about providing actual value. It's a total mindset shift. So what does this new way actually look like? Well, the big idea is to build a curated storefront right into the game world itself. So instead of annoying ads popping up, you get interesting opportunities. It's about changing the entire role of commerce inside the game. This analogy right here really gets to the core of it. We're not talking about just slapping a billboard onto the side of a game anymore. The goal is to build this custom, valuable shop right inside the game's universe, a place that players might actually want to go. Now, to really get why this works so incredibly well, we have to talk about the most valuable thing in all of gaming: a player's focused attention. See, the trick isn't just to show someone an offer, it's about engaging them at that one perfect moment. And that perfect moment has a name. Psychologists call it the flow state. This is when a player is just completely locked in. You know the feeling. You're totally immersed, the outside world fades away, your brain is firing, endorphins are peaking, and this is the critical part: your willingness to act on a suggestion is at its absolute highest. So how do you actually harness that? Well, picture this sequence. A player accomplishes something big. They get a win, they set a new high score. At that exact moment, when their endorphins are spiking from that thrill of victory, a relevant contextual offer shows up. That is the magic window. You're meeting them at their peak moment of joy. And this right here, this is the solution to that ad fatigue we were talking about at the start. Instead of random interruptions, you get contextual commerce, where the offers feel like they're just a natural part of the game world. Let's make this feel real. The source uses a great example, a game called Penguin Water Slide Dash. Okay, so you're a penguin sliding down a mountain. A thematic link to something like a GoPro just makes sense, right? Or maybe in the settings menu, there's a gear upgrade section that links to a better, more ergonomic controller. And what if your penguin drinks a little stamina potion? Well, that's a perfect bridge to a real-world energy drink. It fits. Okay, so how can a developer actually build all this? This is where a massive platform like Amazon's affiliate program comes into play. And it brings two incredibly powerful, almost secret weapons to the fight. Weapon number one is the 24-hour cookie. Now, what does that mean? When a player clicks your link, a little timer starts. For the next 24 hours, you get a commission on pretty much anything they buy on Amazon, not just the one item you showed them. And that leads us to weapon number two, which is even crazier: broad commission. Let's say a player clicks on a $10 penguin plushie from your game, but then they get distracted, browse around, and end up buying a $1,000 television. Guess what? The developer gets a commission on the entire cart. That is an absolute game changer. And finally, you have the biggest advantage of all: trust. People already have their credit cards saved on Amazon. They trust Prime shipping. Things like one-click checkout remove all of that friction, all those little annoyances that normally make you abandon a shopping cart. Okay, so this whole new model, it isn't just about selling stuff. It's about building a bridge between our physical and our digital lives. It's about creating something that the industry is starting to call a phygital experience. Now, phygital, I know. It sounds a little bit like corporate jargon, but the idea is actually super simple. It's just a mashup of physical and digital. The whole point is to use real-world items to build a deeper connection to the game, which then, in turn, makes players want to stick around for longer. It's this really powerful feedback loop. So, what does this actually look like? Well, imagine being the top player on the weekly leaderboard and unlocking a special, curated list of recommended gear on Amazon, like a real-world trophy case. Or what about a gift this button next to a cool in-game item that links directly to a friend's Amazon wishlist? Suddenly, the game is part of a real social economy. Now, for any developers watching this, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but also incredibly complicated to build. But the source material points to one specific tool that makes it all possible: Amazon's Product Advertising API version 5.0. This API is basically the engine that powers the whole thing. It lets a game pull real-time pricing and stock information right into its own user interface. So no more linking to sold-out items, and it automatically scales across the entire globe. So a player in Germany gets sent to the German Amazon store, and a player in Canada gets sent to the Canadian one. It's seamless. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture. This quote from the source material absolutely nails it. The most successful games coming out in the future, they won't just be apps you open and close. They're going to be entire ecosystems that are woven into a player's lifestyle. Really, it all boils down to this one fundamental shift in thinking. By using commerce to add value instead of to interrupt, a game can transform itself from being just a momentary distraction into a genuine destination. And when you actually look at the potential results, the choice becomes obvious. The old ad model gives you low player retention and terrible click-through rates. Players leave and they don't click. But with integrated commerce, player retention shoots up, and so does engagement. The difference is night and day. So we'll end with this question, and it's not just for developers, it's for players too. When we look at what's coming next, what do we really want our games to be? Are they just simple pieces of software we use to pass the time? Or are they capable of becoming something much, much bigger?